elections. Really what they're doing here by going after her in this way is they're showing her authenticity. Again, just like Laura said, she's not hiding who she is. She is leaning into who she is.
I did not see this coming. The hush money trial of Donald Trump, once thought to be a sideshow to a case about the unsexy charges of election campaign fraud, has instead been a revelation. While Stormy testifies, Donnie Indictable has been reduced to a mumbling stooge, grunting and farting like a caged baboon.
She goes on and on. And you know what I found so stunning? She said, I was in 200 porn films before I met him, and I wrote about 150 porn stories and directed them. Yeah, that's great. You can make up these stories and direct them. And in fact, that's what you're doing right here.
That's Judge Jeannie, who's a judge in the same way that Trump is a golfer. I mean, they both make it up as they go along.
Oh, he shanked it.
She's trying her best, but Trump's trial is not working out the way Fatty Bananas thought. While they attack Stormy Daniels' credibility on the stand, which is rock solid, the defense has to worry more about stroking Trump's ego. For example, the whole point of the Stormy cross is to prove that Trump never had sex with her and never paid her hush money to keep her quiet. But the cross is weird on a bunch of levels. First off, the defense has obviously been instructed to protect Trump's ego. After confirming with Stormy that celebrities like Aaron Rodgers and Charles Barkley and Ben Roethlisberger were at the golf tournament where Trump met Stormy Daniels, Trump's lawyer then pushed Daniels to confirm Trump was the most famous celebrity there, then asking her to confirm that Trump did really well at the golf tournament. Seriously? Only Tiny Fingers could have his world collapsing around him, but still be enough of a sociopath to get testimony of his fame and golf prowess admitted as evidence at a criminal trial that can land him in prison. In case you haven't forgotten, what with all the talk about mushroom-shaped penises, spankings, and Trump's other inadequacies, this trial is about trying to kill the truth, something Trump has done his entire life. And there's a basic question. Why did Trump orchestrate a payment to Daniels a decade after they had sex and just a month before the 2016 election? I mean, with Daniels, Michael Cohen, and cancel check paper trails, this is not as trivial as advertised.
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely. It's a scam. It's a scam. That's not a trial.
Trump lied, and he won't testify for the same reason he keeps farting. He's unable to control his bodily functions, most notably his mouth. Imagine, though, if Trump took the stand. If there were an Olympics for perjuring himself, Trump would take home every medal. And of course, Stormy's claim that she can offer identifying aspects of his penis could lead to this.
I only did it because he called me a liar. Hey, Mr. Trump, all you have to do to prove I'm lying right now, drop your pants.
Now, as you remember, this trial was trivialized in comparison to the documents and January 6 cases. Understandably, but upon closer examination, maybe this trial has been underestimated. The document trial is a slam dunk, but a little wonkish. And the January 6 trial is so big, its enormity has some trying to fully grasp the implications. But Stormy's a regular person, albeit an unusual line of work, whose life intersected with a sociopath who has no empathy for anyone other than himself. And women watching this will ask themselves the question I always ask. If a guy will betray his wife and newborn son, what will he do to you? This trial, like many, centers around whom do you believe? A former president or a porn star? And on the surface, it seemed to favor Trump. But everybody underestimated Stormy Daniels.
Some of the groundwork on who she is, her background. She talked about growing up in Louisiana, saying she was born and raised in Baton Rouge. Her parents split up when she was 4. She was raised mostly by a single working mom, went to a strict elementary school, middle school. So they're really taking the jurors through her life story briefly, taking them up to, she graduated the top 10 in her class, she said, when it came to this high school that she was at Magnet High School.
And Trump's legal team is understandably freaking out. They know they can't put Trump on the stand because, well, it's Trump. And Merchan's gag order won't allow Trump to threaten witnesses, prosecutors, and jurors.
How is the prosecution's star witness allowed to say anything that he wants, and then the former president is not allowed to respond?
Because we have a dual system of justice and a very unconstitutional gag order. As his legal spokeswoman, I'm nervous about what I can't say, and that's also unconstitutional. The fact that they will not let a defendant speak and exercise his First Amendment rights, never mind the leading candidate for president, that is un-American. It violates his First Amendment rights. And yes, yesterday we filed something in the appellate division to appeal this completely ridiculous order. Hopefully the appellate division will see that it is unconstitutional, as we say it is.
Trump doesn't want to go to jail despite his tough guy tweets and proclamations. And this gag order is anything but unconstitutional. The only two-tier justice system favors Trump, because if you or I had violated these gag orders, we'd be inside looking out.
She's being called Stormy Daniels. She's talking about all the things that she does and doesn't do. And by going and doing this cross-examination, in some ways, I think it can backfire because they're going to feel sorry for her. She owes this billionaire $500,000. Look what he's done to her life. I mean, in some ways, yes, she made some money, but also her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, he's in prison for stealing from her. And so this is who she is and what has happened to her. So I would be careful.
Yeah, at one point, Daniels tells Trump's attorney, "You're trying to trick me into saying something that's not entirely true." She is not intimidated by any.
She's holding her own.
Obviously, the Trump defense is trying to undermine her credibility. That goes without saying. But the way that they're doing that, you used a term earlier.
Yeah, I use the term slut shaming because that is what is happening here. And you can see the lawyer there for Donald Trump asking her, how many men did you sleep with? Is it 200? And Stormy Daniels comes back and I think she says something like 150. How could it be that a woman who slept with so many men could then be sort of startled by Donald Trump, who was sitting there on the bed in his boxers or naked or whatever it was? And she said, yeah, there was I think a bodyguard that was out there that was kind of intimidating to her.
Juries are funny, and Trump's legal team is so effing this up by attacking Stormy, especially after the prosecution's presentation. She, not Trump, is the victim here, and Trump's history with women is reinforced by this attack on her. The trial of Donald Trump versus the state of New York is about Trump's practice of lying to make money. He lied about the value of his properties to save taxes and is now facing a $500 million fine. The documents case and the January 6 cases, if they ever see a courtroom, will again highlight Trump's huge moral inadequacies. His desperate need for power and to avoid the consequences of his actions are on full display. But this case is also about what he does to people, and in this case, an unlikely hero has emerged. You can say what you want about her occupation, but you have to admire her spit. She's standing toe-to-toe with a man whose crowd threatens her life and could again if Trump should win in the fall. But unlike Avenatti or Trump's inner circle of frauds, she has integrity. And in every case with Donald Trump, integrity will always be his foe, his ultimate nemesis. At the end of the day, Stormy Daniels did what Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, Mike Pence, and the rest of the weak GOP incels couldn't. She stood up to Trump and said, "I'm not afraid of you." That's a lesson I'm sure the GOP will never learn.
Who's with me?
Hi, what's up?
On speed or something.
Time to pack it up.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, right.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Thank you so much for watching. You know, YouTube frequently penalizes my videos for taking on controversial subjects, hurting our ability to earn ad revenue, which we use to hire more hosts and make more videos. We think it's so important to make these videos now and expose a Republican cult. So please join us on Patreon. The link is in the comments. We literally can't make these without you. Thank you so much. For Really American Media,
all of a sudden, this guy is like amped.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.